Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Allison. I'm a compulsive overeater. Gratefully weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I commit those meals to my sponsor. I don't eat no matter what, and abstinence is the most important thing in my life without exception. And it's good to see some of you. Some of you some of you I know for a long time, and some of you I'm familiar with, and some of you I don't know at all. So, but it's good to be in this meeting. And it's kind of a treat to be in a Gray Sheet meeting on a 3 o'clock Eastern on a Thursday. I'm normally doing other things. So I probably won't be here. I probably won't be back simply because I'm usually working and doing other things, but it's really nice to be here. So I'll give you like my stats and where I am. And since we're all probably all over the world, which is amazing, right? We're not in like a church basement or where else have we been in? Church basements, church, whatever, church rooms of churches. And one of my first meetings was at, there's like rehabs in New York City, like rehab centers, and they rent out rooms and we can have meetings there, 12-step meetings there. It was something, I don't, God, it's gone now. It was turned into condos, that space, whatever it was. If I heard it, I would recognize it. So I'll just back up and say, so I'm 61. I'll be turning 62 in December. I got abstinent in 1991. So I just celebrated last month 32 years of abstinence, of back-to-back abstinence. And when I came in, I got sober first at 25. So I'll kind of go backward. Someone brought me to my first meeting back in 1987. I was a train wreck. Literally, I was a train wreck. I was a hot mess. And I remember thinking, like, now what am I supposed to do with the rest of my life? Like what was the point? And, the point was what I didn't know that day, but what I would soon learn is that the point was I would, start to uncover and recover. So the short story about my background is born in Long Island to two working parents, 1961. And I really think, like, I can look back now and say, I think some of the behaviors and attitudes were cultural, right? Because in the 50s, it was super repressed. And then in the 60s, there was a lot of, fighting rejection about the Vietnam War. Like I didn't know this then. I just know it now looking back. And my parents were, my dad was the first generation of his side, and my mother was second generation on her side. And so it kind of falls in line with the whoever came from another country, and then here you go. And trying the land of plenty and trying to make it, and the meritocracy and all that. And my parents both got master's degrees, which was like unheard of in both families. And they both ended up working in school systems, which were good, safe jobs. Let's just put it that way. It's a good, safe career. There's a pension. You can retire, blah, 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 blah. It's all that. Good, safe way to live. They're also active alcoholics, P.S. So there's a lot of awareness right now. I'm listening to all this true crime stuff. There's a lot of hyper awareness around child abuse. We might have probably qualified for one of those stories, but it was a different time back then. You could spank, you could hit your children, you could punish them. You could punish them any way you saw fit back then. And it was not a crime. Today, it's a little different. Just saying. So thankfully I had food, nearby to like stuff the feelings and manage the chaos. And then eventually drugs and alcohol, nicotine. And then, when eventually I had a job, I could, go places, do things, go night clubbing. I moved from this small town, which is right where I am right now, outside Niagara Falls, Buffalo area. And I escaped, basically, I escaped to New York City in 1980 to go to college. I had no idea I was going from the frying pan to the fire, which is actually a very popular theme in my life as an adult. But it saved my life. It just saved my life. I would have died driving drunk or stoned, something, had I not left. And I really believe like New York did me such a favor because it just beats the shit out of you. It just beats the crap out of you. So a lot of people will show up, they're like, yeah, I want to live here. And they leave like within a year, they're gone, they're out of here. And I was tenacious enough to hang in. Was it a example of my mental health? Maybe not. Not great mental health, but it was on some level self-preservation that was operating. College. I had all the stories that I hear in this room. I had roommates. I ate their food and then I replaced it, and then I ate it and I replaced. It was that whole thing: eating other people's food, replacing it, scraping it back down to the same point, getting caught, the thrill of eating late at night. I had resources for food that were walking distance, which they weren't when I grew up. And I could go, it was, New York is like a 24-hour situation, as opposed to small towns where they kind of lock up by 9. And I had access to this, like my first choice was always sugar first, last, forever. And I would rather eat sugar than anything. That's what I did. That's who I was. My weight yo-yoed. I was always very painfully aware of my appearance. I wanted to look better than I was. I got a lot of unwanted attention back then. It was a kind of a dangerous time. Might have been a little dangerous to be a young attractive woman in a big city. I'm lucky I didn't end up in garbage bags in someone's trunk. I'm probably very lucky that never happened, and I was probably close to it. And I was very aware of the fact that I was living my life backwards, but I was in therapy, but I didn't know how to turn it around. Therapy was kind of like, just kept me in a holding pattern. And someone at a job site took me to my first AA meeting. And it was through AA that I sat next to other women that were thin and attractive, and they were doing things with their food. They were going to food programs. And I was like, oh, really? So we all know about the other 12-step. There are a bunch of 12-step food programs, but the other main one. And I did go there a few times. I have to say, I only went a few times. The few times I'd gone, most of the room was over 300 pounds. And I heard a lot of justifying, don't worry, I won't, you're still a good person, or I can pray my way. If I just pray, I'll get abstinent. It was something like that. It was a little vague. If I just pray and meditate, I'll get abstinent. But that looked like an indefinite path. It didn't look like getting abstinent was going to happen in this lifetime. And someone eventually got me to Gray Sheet, and I kicked and screamed, of course, because my favorite drugs, sugar and carbs, were going to have to be put down. And I won't go through all the drama, but I do remember that first abstinent meal was awful. It was so bad. It was like a can of string green things in water. I didn't know how to put a salad together for the life of me, and some horrible protein. And I'll be damned, I never picked up again. It was not even a gourmet meal. It would make me shudder right now to think that I would have to like put that together. And of course, I would eat it if it meant staying abstinent, but I would never choose to ever put that meal together. And I don't know how it did it. It was like, truly, it was magical. Like this thing came over me. And I attempted to go binge on a couple runs after that. And I had a shopping experience in an A&P in Hell's Kitchen where I went to that sugar aisle. I was like, it's only 7 days. Who cares? I'll just start over tomorrow. And my hands were on the shopping cart. And this force pushed me through and whipped me around to the next aisle and then stopped. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Oops, this thing can detect my hand up. That's so weird. Um, so I heard a voice, which I don't think was mine, say, are you kidding? You were going to throw away like 7 days? You've never not eaten sugar in 7 days. Are you serious? And I love telling this piece because it's I feel it's like it's so poignant. So I was 29 at the time, and the same voice, had been watching me diet since I was like 11, said to me, what are you going to do? Wait until you're 50 to get your shit together with food? 50 seemed like ancient. I was 29. I was like, 50? Oh my God. And I got it. I was like, you're right. I'm just going to waste the next 20 years fucking around, trying to find the right plan that fits, that meets my needs. And I don't even know what my needs were. I just wanted to be thin. I wanted to be thin. I wanted to eat recklessly. I wanted to be able to eat any way I wanted to with no consequences. Period. End of story. And that voice scared me. And I was like, gulp, never picked up. I amazingly never, ever, ever picked up. And I had a couple, technicalities, putbacks the first couple of months, but never picked up, never binged. I'm still amazed that that first horrible dinner did it to me. And I make the most amazing food now.
2 minutes?
Thanks, Nancy. So my cooking has evolved, and I spend a lot more time in the kitchen, not just kind of getting by, but making some great meals. And I really appreciate those meals. I mean, if I have to eat something simple like a number 5 out of 10, fine, good enough. But wow, like I can make these meals that are on a scale of 1 to 10, they're like 100. They're amazing. And I just really love and appreciate the fact that my food is so great and I'm not craving sugar and I'm not craving carbs. And people will look at me like, don't you want this? And I'm like, nope, actually, I don't. Thanks anyway. I don't feel left out. And it was a struggle the first 5 years, up and down, like, I can't have that. Poor me. And now I'm like, nope, not mine. It's all yours. Don't need it. Don't want it. Never want to pick that stuff up again because I don't know where it'll take me. I really don't know where it'll take me. I'm so grateful to Gray Sheet that I've remained committed. My life it's been a tragedy, and then it's been amazing, and then it would alternate tragedy and fabulous. And right now it's nice and stable. It looks and feels pretty fabulous. It could get better. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. And I know that not picking up is that's the what is it, the power, that's the magic sauce or something. That's my secret weapon. Not picking up, that's my secret weapon. Because anything can happen, and basically anything has happened. So I put my info in the chat. I'll just finish by saying I only weigh and measure. My line does not flex. I've had the same sponsor for 30 years. We were going to break up at one point because I wanted to flex because it looks so fun and interesting and cool. And it's not a put down. Like if that's what other people do and you need to do that, more than ever, I just keep my eyes on my own plate. I mean, I see people do some strange things that are abstinent, some other version of abstinent. I just go, whatever, it's not my business. I'm not your sponsor, none of my business. I weigh and measure, this is what I do. And that's it. So thanks very much. I really appreciate being here.